Well, joining me this week here on Tape Study is Eagles left tackle Jordan Mailata. Jordan, thanks so much for joining us here on the show.
Thanks for having me, Fran.
All right, well, let's take a look at some of your biggest blocks here from the season and also some of your teammates' biggest blocks. And I want to start with one of my favorites. This goes back a few weeks against the New York Giants. You're going to pull here up to the play side linebacker. And I guess first things first, as an offensive lineman, when I've talked with linemen in the past, they'll say, look, my family, they don't always see the base blocks. They don't always see the double team blocks. But when I get out on the move as a puller, that's where my family and friends, they get to see me out on the football field more often.
Yeah, it's kind of like the rugby days again, being out in the open field and pulling.
Yeah, so take us through what's happening here on this play. Obviously, a lot of it, and I don't think that fans get to see this as much, this play doesn't necessarily happen the way that it happened without Lane kind of influencing this backer before peeling off to his assignment.
Yeah, so we kind of went on a double cadence here, and when we went on the double cadence, of course, we're going on the silent tap as well. On the first silent cadence, kind of saw the linebacker coming down, so I knew that I had to be ready for him to, plug that gap. Lane's rule, if 49 crosses his face as Lane's going back to the backside linebacker, then Lane takes him. But because he doesn't, Lane does that little influence to kind of help me out, set me up for a nice, beautiful block.
And when you have this kind of opportunity, at what point do you know, hey, I've got the ability to really kind of clean up here versus, hey, I've got to make sure I stay under control and kind of block him off the route?
I think the timing of everything, Lane's influence, and even like Driscoll's displacement creates the gap. You see Lane can go through and then me just hit it. It's not just me, it's, everybody has a key role, even Landon on that play.
Yeah, and it's a similar kind of play right here. That's why I wanted to see the difference between these two. And you mentioned Landon. Here's Landon over here. He's going to also kind of kick out this play side defensive end. Just take us through how this one was a little bit different than that last play.
I didn't realize old boy was standing right there. And so I had to log him. When we pull, we try and pull and hit. You pull right, hit with the right side of your body, but because he was coming by so fast, I just kind of reacted and trying to club him with my left and then trying to turn it into a run and just kind of just played off it, really. I didn't have much leverage on him, and I just tried to put as much on the block as I could.
Talk about what you see here from Lane, because he's another guy that he's going to work up to the second level, and you've got that opportunity to work up against a smaller defender. What have you seen from Lane? Obviously, an athletic offensive lineman just like you that has that ability to do work here up in space.
I mean, look at that. It's beautiful, beautiful work there by Lane. Getting on that push tee and then just going up to the second level and finishing his linebacker. We always talk about finishing in the offensive line, especially in that secondary level. And that's just Lane doing Lane things, man. He's a freak. What
have you learned most from Lane? When you reflect back on your career, a guy that obviously has been here for you since day one, clearly someone who plays with a ton of emotion like yourself as well, as we see on this play.
I think the biggest thing that I've learned from Lane is to kind of have patience and also play with heart, man. Lane plays with a lot of heart. And I think it kind of just reflects on how our room is this year. That's just the one thing I've learned from Lane, having that passion and holding yourself accountable to, if you know you're great and you're performing great and it's backed by the numbers, there's no reason why we should be falling short every week. So that's one thing I learned from him.
When you look at the numbers, the run game obviously has been really productive for you guys here this season. The screen game also really effective, and that started back in week one. A couple of you guys out in space here on this one. Tell us what's going through your mind. You're walking to the line of scrimmage, preparing for a screen where hey, I'm going to release. I've got the ability to go out and really lay a big block here on this play.
Yeah, I remember doing this early in the week during practice, and I kind of screwed up the timing. I went too early one time, and then I went too late the next time. So kind of knew I had to find the sweet spot in the middle, and once I did, I just kind of hit it with full speed. We're supposed to pull flat down the line to try and get that kick-out block. As you can see, 27 doesn't see me coming because of my angle. He has all eyes on Rager, so it kind of is like a nice spot where he can't see me, the blind spot. So yeah, I don't know why. It's like he can't see me. Like it's insane.
You'd think you'd be hard to miss.
Yeah, that's what I think too, but I think he was just doing his job, trying to play the ball and see what the QB's doing.
Another guy that has had so much success in the screen game over the course of his career, Jason Kelce, with his athleticism. Both of you guys, such unique skill sets, and you do it in much different body types. What have you learned most from Jason over the course of your career?
Heart, man. Jason Kelce's got the most heart out of anyone that I know. Just the pure grit that he plays with every week, to have the passion that he has for the game, the love that he has for his teammates. Not many people know, man. Jason Kelce makes everybody right, not just on the O-line. He makes everybody right. Receivers, QBs, tight ends. He's a very smart player. And then when you see the passion and the grit, the heart that he plays with, it's very inspiring. And so one thing I've learned from Jason Kelce is how to be a leader. You see it, it's very infectious, it's inspiring, and I think for me, it's kind of the player I want to embody myself as. The guy's the mayor of Philly, whether he knows it or not.
And that's the thing, is whenever you talk to anybody about Jason, it's always not necessarily the toughness that we all see in games, but it's throughout the process. It's throughout the spring, in the summer, and during the week in November when it's 20 degrees outside and you don't feel like getting up. Jason always there pushing everybody along.
Yeah, he really is, mate. He really is. He's always there.
And as you mentioned earlier, always trying to make people right. You could see that he kind of helps out Jack Stoll here up at the play side.
Yeah, look at that. It's just a beautiful curl technique there, and just absolutely demolishes. We get taught, if you see color, just strike color and then get off.
Interesting. So when you say you see color, for the viewers at home, you're seeing opposing team's color.
Yes.
That once that flashes, then you're striking
once
that color.
Flashes, give a hand and help. Obviously, Kelce gives a shoulder and demolishes that dude. Oh my God.
And that's the thing, is that I'm trying to figure out what are my favorite Jason Kelce blocks from the season so I can put this into this segment. There are too many. This goes back to week 1, but he does this time and time again where he's releasing up to the second level and just lays these huge hits.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's a thing of art. I think his acceleration and his leverage that he gets is just what makes him so powerful. He's able to just bring his hip through on the block, and you just see it, he finishes.
When you talk about that athleticism, I mean, so often, guys, you have the ability to get from point A to point B, but then having that athleticism, you've got that as well, to be able to track a moving target and stay under control and finish out in space. That's a really, really difficult thing to do.
Yeah, that's one thing I'm still trying to learn from Kelce, just watching his film and then practicing with him. It's just a thing of beauty. You just see how he pulls with speed and control and able to finish. Take 2, look at that. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, it's consistent.
Insane.
This goes back years that he's been doing this.
Yeah, the 4 years that I've been here, it's just insane. He does this every year. Look at him, he's trying to go back for more. That's what I mean. That's why I play the way I play now, is because I see things like that from Kelce, and that stuff fires me up, to be honest.
And this was from a couple weeks ago here against the New York Jets, where, once again, same kind of deal. And what you're always seeing from Jason Kelce. And I think the one thing that's always kind of undersold with him as well, everybody sees these plays out in space, but we don't always talk about what he can do basically in the trenches, matched up, whether it's a drive block one-on-one, working with double teams with his guards. And I feel like this play against Denver, you really get a sense of his ability to displace defensive tackles. We don't talk about that enough on the outside.
Yeah, you just look at that, like the gap that he creates is just insane. And I think, for Kelce, he knows that he's not the biggest center of them all, but he knows about hard work. He knows about his body. He understands his body. He understands how to manipulate it so he can pull off these blocks. And so I think once you get a great understanding of your body, you can do so much. And Kelce's proof of it.
Yeah, another example here on a touchdown for Kenny Gainwell. When you guys are able to
look at that beautiful block. Oh my days. Him and Isaac, man, I swear, the most technical sound people I've ever played with in my life.
How long does it take you to get to that point? So you feel like, I feel really comfortable, where it's almost second nature, it's muscle memory at that point?
I think once you play next to the player that, over and over again, you can get that feel. Coach Stout always talks about getting your hips together, hip to hip, like Siamese twins, Stout would always say. And so that's just a beautiful thing. They rolled that dude off, I don't even know how many yards that was off the ball, but they rolled him. Look at that. It's a car crash.
And these are things that I know, talking with Coach Stoutland in the past, you guys work this every single day, the same drills every single day to work through that.
Yeah, we have the same drills every day. We have the same progression every day this whole year. So Stout's very big on executing and not getting bored of the process, or the process, you guys say. And not getting bored of the little things. And so we make sure that we're doing the right techniques and doing the same techniques over and over again.
And one guy that you've spent a lot of time with here over these last couple of months is the rookie left guard, Landon Dickerson. And I'm interested to kind of get your thoughts on what you've seen so far from Landon. He is a bigger gentleman like yourself, so some of the things that he's able to do with his body, you're able to kind of share those same kind of qualities.
Yeah, he's just a big oaf. Hey, he's a big bopper. He's a big boy. The stuff that he can do physically is just insane. He's athletically gifted as well. And for a guy to have as many injuries as he had, it's amazing how easily he can move because, yeah, the dude's playing great. He's playing out of his mind right now and just growing every day. You know, like I said, just playing next to the guy every week, you can form that sort of relationship that you guys can get the timing down right. And look at that, you just see him and Kelce just roll that dude off the ball as well.
How often do you have to work that when you're as a bigger offensive lineman in terms of working with proper leverage and, you call it, whether it's the shoot drills or just being able to consistently play low to high?
I think when you do, especially with Kelce is very specific on hitting the technique. So these guys will do it. They'll hold themselves accountable, especially Kelce. If it doesn't feel right, they'll keep doing it till it feels right. I mean, that's just a credit to how Kelce is. And, he's teaching us to train the right way.
Just looking at Dickerson here, you get a sense of his raw power, his ability to move defenders, toward guys, get them on the ground. What are you seeing here from Landon here?
Just a manhandling man. Oh my God, that's insane. That's so funny. I feel like I've never seen this clip before. Oh my God, you just see it. Once you get your hands in the inside of the breastplate, it's game over. You get tight hands win the game. And just how strong he is, he's able to just manipulate that dude against his will.
And obviously seeing this from a rookie, it was not that long ago that you were in his shoes, and obviously your journey to the NFL to being a rookie much different than his. What are some of the things that you've kind of parted on him? And I'm sure he's given you some things as well.
Oh yeah, Landon's, as much as this is his first year, he's actually pretty wise, man. He's got a lot of words, has said some things that I've never heard before in my life. And I think that's kind of like the PB&J combination, That's what we are, the PB&J combination.
I like it.
You can't have one without the other, man.
Are you getting used to the official name change now? Instead of it being former rugby player Jordan Mailata, starting left tackle Jordan Mailata, getting more of a better ring to it?
Yeah, it's a great ring, to be honest. Not that I don't love my rugby past, man. I do, but this is what I want to be known as. I want to be known as a footballer, a left tackle, no lineman. That's the life I live now. That's the life that I've bought into. And so I want to be known as it. Well,
Jordan, this has been awesome. Really appreciate you joining us here for Tape Study. Stay healthy, and we'll keep watching you do your thing. Hopefully now we'll be Pro Bowl left tackle Jordan Mailata.
Hopefully. We'll see what happens, mate. We'll see what happens.